Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. Top 10 movies, 1998, as we wind down our project. We've got one more year to go after this. Brian here, Massey's Maine Entertainment, and Doc. We've been on this journey on the movies from 1980, picking a yearly top 10. We're going to 99. So next time out will be our end of the project, unfortunately. Doing a tandem video on Brian's channel, Massey's Maine Entertainment. Music for corresponding years, and we started that a bit earlier, 1965 on through 99. So all the links will be in the description below, so please go over and check them out. Like, subscribe, leave comments. We love the feedback, and hopefully you'll follow us on our projects from here on out. And we want to continue what we've been doing, giving a top 10, a worst of the year, and just filling in on some details and hopefully some recommendations for anybody out there that's missed some of these films along the way. You're talking about 25 years down the road. A lot of people, can go back and check them out. There's some good stuff on our list. So, guys, 1998, pretty, I would say not mediocre, but above average year. It's not as good as some of the years we've tackled, but it's not the worst year we've done either. So, mixed bag, some pretty good stuff. And tonight's order is going to be Brian, Doc, and myself. So, Brian, let's kick it off. Let's hear your top 10. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you a little bit. This is not obviously one of the better years in the 1990s. I thought the top was okay, as far as quality for sure. But then after that, it became a matter of preference.
Yes.
And so at number 10, I put Rushmore, a Wes Anderson film. I put this here because I really like his style of filmmaking. He always has this very dark satire type of comedy that I enjoy. And this one has Jason Schwartzman and Bill Murray and Olivia Williams. Just basically a kid that's kind of lost his way. Really, he's not a particularly good student in this private school, but he participates in everything that's actually going on in the school, trying to make a name for himself, and he never really fits in any way. And then he kind of falls for an older woman who happens to be a teacher, and then Bill Murray kind of comes into the picture, and he feels like that he took her away from him, and it's just this big bumbling type of kid trying to go through life and try to find himself. And it's a typical Wes Anderson film. I love the style. Number 9, I've got Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Guy Ritchie putting his finger again on the old action genre. This one here, Jason Statham in him and Vinnie Jones and stuff. And it's basically about, these guys are like they go in and get into debt in a card game and end up having to try to steal something that's of high value so that they can try to sell it and get out of debt to this guy. And then it's a series of bumbling type of battles and altercations that end up like, the good guys end up like, weathering out in the end, through basically blind sheer luck. And I always think that's kind of a cool film. Vinnie Jones is incredibly funny in it, despite just playing it straight for a big guy. I think he's hilarious in it. So Number 8 for me, I've got There's Something About Mary, Farrelly Brothers classic here. I mean, this movie just absolutely, the first time I saw it, I could not stop laughing. The whole Franks and Beans scene, obviously in the bathroom with the very young Ben Stiller. Basically, Ben's kind of going through a little bit of a midlife thing, and he wants to try to find an old flame. And so he hires Matt Dillon, a private detective, to go find her. And then he ends up falling for her. And then there's all sorts of men who are kind of pawning over her. And it's this series of collisions that are going to happen based on that. And, it's just a great scene. Like I said, the Franks and Beans scenes are great. The hair gel scene, a classic scene as well. Farrelly Brothers always find those moments in each comedy that they have that are just total gut busters. And that's a great movie. Number 7, I've got The Truman Show. This one, here it's another one of those movies where I feel like, Jim Carrey never really got to do for actually doing a very good acting job in this. And I think it's because once you start doing movies where you bend over and talk out your butt, there's really not many places you can go, and you're not going to get a lot of respect in Hollywood. But it's about it's a kid that's actually born into a reality show, and every aspect of his life is basically staged and filmed for our amusement, and it's about, you know, it's about that yearning for something more than what everybody says is that you're entitled to or that the world can offer you. And I think Ed Harris does a really great job in this film. And like I said, Jim didn't get a lot of credit, and he should have. So number 6 for me, I pick Rounders. It's just one of those movies that I really enjoy watching, with Matt Damon and Ed Norton, who does a fantastic job in it. It's one of those movies that, you know, about two buddies that used to do a lot of poker playing and, you know, hustling people and things like that. And one of them, you know, was going to college to be a lawyer, and another one was just getting out of prison. And so they had two completely different paths. And it's really about kind of coming to terms with who you actually are in life versus who you are trying to be for others, which is probably an important piece, like conversation that went on in the movie between Martin Landau's character and Matt Damon's character. That was one of the things he was trying to allude to him, was that, you know, sometimes you got to go beyond what people are expecting of you and just be who you are, and that you'll find out your true happiness that way. Number 5, it gets a little bit more serious now. I picked American History X here. Talk about Ed Norton doing a great job. This movie I've only watched twice because I just have such a hard time with the first maybe 35 to 40 minutes of it. Is just kind of a brutal type of situations to kind of go through. But it's about, you know, white supremacy and racism and all sorts of things like that, and types of violence, and how those types of things are really can be learned, as well as, you know, kind of bred into you depending on your situation in life. And like I said, Ed does a great job in it, and it's a powerful movie. Really hard to watch, like just for the fun of it. You're just not going to spend that movie for fun. Number 4, I picked Pleasantville. Again, another movie that you know, I like to watch it just for the sheer enjoyment of it. It's a great movie about these two kids who are kind of sucked into an old black and white television show that one of them was actually a huge fan of. And it's about their being in the world and the things that they expose the characters to, starting to bring like truth to them. And each time that those types of things happen, the black and white turns to color. And it such as upon a lot of other stuff like racism in it. And it's about aspiring to be more than what others claim that you should be. For that reason alone, I think it's a really powerful movie. I think it was Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon were the two main characters in it. They did a really good job. William H. Macy, Joan Allen. I mean, it's filled right to the brim with great actors and actresses. Number 3, I picked a movie by Alex Proya called Dark City, kind of a science fiction film noir about this city, which appears to be some type of 1920s or 1930s city, where William Hurt's playing a police detective. And what happens is he stumbles upon the fact that the city's actually fake, that it's actually controlled by this alien group who has psionic powers, and they change everything over every night, the city structure and everybody's role in it every night, just to kind of see how humans play out emotionally and physically in those environments. And it's kind of a really cool movie in that way. I'm trying to think of the guys. Why do I always forget that one guy's name that plays the main character? But anyway, Kiefer Sutherland, Rufus Sewell. Thank you. And Kiefer Sutherland's role in it as the doctor. He's got that weird cadence in his voice that I think is really creepy and everything. I think that's really cool. But yeah, Rufus Sewell, I enjoyed his character in it, and it's a nice, cool movie to watch every once in a while. Number 2, I picked The Big Lebowski. I mean, I can't believe I have this many comedies in my top 10, but it's a classic movie by the Coen brothers. Just one of maybe the most highly quoted movies in the last 30 years. Anyway, you know, John Candy. Why do I keep always forgetting names, guys?
John Turturro or
John Turturro, and then you got Steve Buscemi. And who plays the dude?
Jeff Bridges.
Oh, Jeff Bridges.
Why do I forget something like that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about basically basically a bum who's just not really going anywhere with his life, and then all of a sudden these guys, the MacGuffin of the film is these guys come in and ransack his apartment and pee all over his rug because they say the Lebowski who owes him money, and it ends up being that they both share the same name, and he shares it with a rich guy who actually does. And then there's a whole bunch of shenanigans that go on while these guys are trying to rectify the fact that he needs to get his place because somebody peed on it. But you guys mentioned John Turturro. His character as the Jesus is a really good character. Also, Sam Elliott plays like the narrator slash guy hanging out at the bowling alley. Really good job in it too. Just a classic comedy that everybody should see. And the worst film for me, I'm going to pull up this Wikipedia page too while I give this to you. This is just absolutely amazing, guys. But I picked what is considered by the LA Times. Kevin Thomas wrote that it is the worst thing to ever come out of Disney, and that is Krippendorf's Tribe. Starring my boy Richard Dreyfuss. Yep. And Jenna Elfman, who's just, and I'm not a fan of hers at all either, so it just made it even worse. That movie had absolutely no redeeming qualities at all. I don't even know what the movie was about. It only had 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. It had a budget of like, I think budget was like 15 or 16 million. It only made 7 million worldwide. Didn't even make its money back, despite having names actually in the film. Yeah. But it's terrible. I think the premise is that he basically took a lot of grant money and blew it all. We're supposed to be trying to find this indigenous tribe that lives in South America, and he basically gets his family, his kids, and Jenna Elfman to play characters that would be from that tribe and fake it to try to prove it, so he doesn't have to go to jail for taking grant money. It's just a terrible movie, and I can't say anything worse about it than the fact that it has Richard Dreyfuss. So last for my number one movie, though, I picked Saving Private Ryan. I feel like this is the movie that got robbed of Best Picture by the politics surrounding Shakespeare in Love and all the things that happened during that particular year. I did not enjoy Shakespeare in Love at all. And it's definitely not a timeless movie ever in my category, but Saving Private Ryan is. The first 15 to 20 minutes of that film is this gut-wrenching. I know that I've been in a theater that was packed, and I saw older veteran guys get up and just walk out of the theater, very upset about it, and it made me nauseous, just the stuff that was going on. It was just making me physically ill, that first scene there. And it's a great cast. It's got Matt Damon's in it, very young Giovanni Ribisi's in it. Also, I'm terrible with names tonight, guys. It's the Jackson kid, right? Is also in it. Peter Jackson.
No, I've got Barry Pepper.
Barry Pepper's
in it.
Yeah, but he played a guy who played a like
Vin Diesel's in it.
Vin Diesel, Edward Burns, Tom Hanks, of course.
Tom Hanks is in it, right? And it's just a really great cast. And they're basically, what happens is a bunch. This family has a lot of brothers that all end up having to go off to war, and then several of them already have gotten killed, and the letters were getting ready to go out to the mother, and somebody took notice of it, and they wanted to make sure that she didn't lose all of her boys, and so they sent this group of guys out to retrieve him and bring him back to safety so they could send him home. And it's about the ordeals that they face as they try to do those things. Thoroughly enjoyable movie. If you can get past the first 15-20 minutes, it's a movie that you can rewatch each and every time, and an important movie for everybody to see.
No doubt.
Yep.
Great pick.
Sure it is. I don't know if we're frozen time. Oh, there he's back. He's back.
Okay.
Awesome pick. Krippendorf's Tribe did suck. I saw it. Can't remember shit about it, but I know it was horrible. Dreyfus or not, and Jenna Elfman. I mean, she gets a big screen role. Give me a break. TV actress of the lowest order.
Yeah.
So, all right, Doc, jump in.
Jump in. Yours was a good list, Brian. I'll say
Okay.
that for 98 for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm starting with the Farley. Something About Mary at number 10 for me, man. So,
Yep.
Brian touched on this right out of the gate.
Great.
Something About Mary, man. There's yeah, the Franks and Beans. There's a lot of classic scenes in this movie, man, and yeah, I don't know what to say, man. It's a slapstick kind of comedy movie, but man, it's yeah, it's a little over the top and everything else, but my God, yeah, it's funny as hell, man. I don't know what to tell you. Something About Mary. There's so many scenes, and just even the way Ben Stiller looks when he has like his the high school look, and then he looks at him later and stuff. Just the way they do everything, man. It's he's wearing the tux, and that's when the Franks and Beans things happen in the can. And Matt Dillon, man, freaking what a guy! It's there's so many. The pizza delivery boy, and there's a whole bunch of like intertwining stories going after Mary.
Yeah.
Classic.
I like the.
Oh, I should have. Oh, did I lose you there, Brian? There you are.
Yeah, the football scene with Matt Dillon, where he's running over all the exceptional people, and he gets to the end zone, spikes the ball, says exceptional my ass.
Spikes the ball.
That was terrible, but funny.
Wutowski, he was 2 towns over.
Right. Yeah.
So,
that's hilarious.
So I got to start with Something About Mary to start 98 for me, man. I'm going to come in with the, I don't know, espionage, IRA kind of flick, man, but I like Ronin a lot. So that's going to come in at number 9 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's that? Ronin?
Ronin, yeah.
Yeah. That's actually the American remake of La Sainte-Marie that
oh, is it?
Randy talks about, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's I think it's a John Frankenheimer movie, and it's I tell you, man, it's got some fantastic car chases. We've talked about this one on a previous video a long time ago about movies and stuff. It's really well shot. Jean Reno and Robert De Niro, and is it Sean Bean? I think that might be in it as well.
I think so.
About the IRA and hiring some mercenaries to go back and retrieve something for the rebellious side. It's the Protestants and Catholics and the Irish Republican Army and stuff like that. You get a lot of that going on, but a lot of backstabbing. Stellan Skarsgård's in it as well. I think that's a couple of years we've had him come up in a couple of movies too. So he's pretty solid when he shows up in things too. So,
oh yeah.
Ronin, great espionage, kind of lots of twists and turns. Good action scenes when they happen, man. I like those kind of like thriller kind of flicks, man. That's what I would say.
Yep.
Just the way my list goes, Brian. So I know you had it very high on your list, but I got the Lebowski here, man. I think it's going to be a placement thing because I do like some of these movies. And Lebowski is a classic. You're right. It's going to be my highest comedy by far for this year. So as much as I think Something About Mary is friggin' hilarious too, Lebowski is. Dude, man, just want my carpet back. That's all I wanted. So I don't know, man. Somebody pissed on my carpet. There's not much more you can say. Not much more you can say about what it is. Junk, and it's like just a total doofus over the top goofball, man. I just don't even know what to say to that part.
Hilarious.
It's just
shut the fuck up.
He almost ruins the whole thing through the whole thing, right? I mean, it's all on Goodman's character for having things go sideways anyway. But you're right. It's goes, man. It's classic. It's definitely a standout in 98, man. It's just now it's a placement thing. So because right after that, I have Dark City coming in right behind it, Brian.
Oh wow.
So, nice.
Yeah. I know you like this movie, and I think you probably do that. I probably liked it too. So, but it's the Matrix before the Matrix. It's there's a lot of those undertones that happen with this movie, and you can see why the Wachowski brothers at the time did what they did with the Matrix. If I'll say that if you like the Matrix, you're gonna love Dark City. That's probably what I would say. And a lot of people like the Matrix, so Dark City has a lot of those tones, and it's really well shot, and it is dark. It is a dark movie, so don't let it fool you. But you'll see the tones, and the story is really unique and different, especially for the time here in '98 as well. So you'll get the feeling of that. A lot of really good things, and it's visually really awesome to look at as well. So set direction, all that kind of stuff. You would see this is pretty good movie making, man. I'll tell you that. I got the Truman Show after that, so that's coming in at number 6 for me. I don't think I'd say much different than what Brian talked about here, man. Jim Carrey did not get recognized for this the way probably he should have. You know, yeah, he talked out of his ass, and he was in Dumber and Dumber. Comedians are probably overlooked for what their actual acting capabilities really are in general. You know, Robin Williams was Robin Williams until you saw him in a serious role, and all these guys like that. You know, Steve Martin was an idiot until you saw him in something serious, and the guy can act. You know, they all can. When you get right down to it, they're all pretty good.
Yeah,
there you go, man. These guys, they're talented, is what I would say. And I don't think he got recognized for his talent, especially at this stage in his career, because he's got a couple that come up over here in the next couple of years where it's standout performances, if you want the truth. And yeah, this is a personal. Jim Carrey's character in the Truman, as Truman he's a real dude, man. You're with him throughout this whole adventure of him living his life on a TV show, and it's. What a concept, what an idea. It's a Peter Weir movie, I think, too, if I remember. So
it is.
He's a pretty good director as well.
Excellent.
So yeah, I think the Truman Show maybe doesn't get the love that it deserves, but it's pretty high up on my list for '98. I think it's a pretty solid year. So
yep.
Number 5, I got Simple Plan coming in at number 5, man.
Yep.
This is man, it's just one of those ones that you just get lost in almost. Billy Bob Thornton's character, man, is just a plan of finding, $4 million or something like that in a plane, whatever that number was that they found. And they're out in the middle of nowhere. They could probably get away with it and just stash it away and split it 3 ways with 3 guys going to do something. And then the simple plan is the furthest thing from simple. Turns out to be quite a lot of twists and turns. I don't want to say too much about the movie about which way it goes, but there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie, and you think it's easy and it's not easy, and touches on a lot of human elements inside of it as well when you get right down to it. So Simple Plan's a fantastic movie, and Billy Bob Thornton's one thing, and my guy Bill Paxton there, he's basically the lead in the role, and I think he's fantastic in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 has got to be American History X, man, for me. Once again, I don't know if I can say anything different than what Brian talked about here. This touches on racism and, neo-Nazis and different things like this that are going on in a movie that it is a tough watch. Violent as hell when it wants to be or has to be to show you what's actually going on or what the characters are going through. And it shows other sides, but it shows you what that actual character goes through. When I get right down to it, when I go back and I looked at some of these movies, I went back and revisited some of them. I think Norton got burned, man. I think he probably deserved the whole kit and caboodle for best actor in this. I think he really did.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in Hollywood and stuff like that, but I'm thinking, Primal Fear and this guy can act, man. Freaking, what a character. And it's a gut-wrenching, heartbreaking story in the end. It always usually is, but American History X, like I said, like Brian touched on, one or two watches, and that'll do the limit. But yeah, it's fantastic. Life is Beautiful is number 3 for me, man. Mm-hmm. We're going to see something here as we go along here for my top 3. But Life is Beautiful. Rich, you had this one in '97, which was a good call. Nice move. Here it gets released in North America. It turns out wins a whole bunch of Oscars, including Billie Jean winning the Best Actor, I think, and this wins Best Foreign Film as well, I think. So reminds me of the time that we did. I didn't go back and watch it, but I remember what I said. Life is beautiful until it's not, and that's what this movie's about. It's a heartbreaking story of a father really just trying to protect his family and really his son. How his life came together. He eventually gets married, he gets a kid, and then war happens, and it's in northern Italy, and it's the Germans invading and taking over the town, and what happens to them. And he never put himself first. He always had his family first. It's a gut wrencher, man, when you get right down to it, because it was never about him throughout the whole movie anyway. So Life is Beautiful is kind of a masterpiece out of 98, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But I think my top three are. Number 2 is The Thin Red Line. A little bit of a switch for me here. This is Terrence Malick's movie, I think, here. So, and this is him after a hiatus coming back to make a war movie with a cast of thousands. Nolte had a pretty good year this year, actually, if you want the truth.
Yeah.
He's got a couple movies that came out that I gave some consideration to. He's in this one, but there's another one too. But whatever, it's Sean Penn. There's a cast of 100 in here, man.
Affliction.
Affliction. Yeah, that's there you go. It's a very good movie too. You know, and it
is.
just missed my list if you want the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Thin Red Line, I just think is so well shot for like it's a movie, right? It's a war movie. These aren't beautiful pictures to watch or anything like that, you know. But this it's awesome to look at, the scenery, the shots, the cinematography of a movie like this that goes on. It's a long movie, man. It's 3 hours almost, so buckle in. But it tells almost the story of war from like 5 different people's point of view almost. So it's they don't just really focus on one as much as there's maybe one character that's got a little bit more of the focus. You hear a lot of different stories, and it's not just a little passing breezy spot on what they're talking about. There's something meaningful to these characters. I think that's really hard to do in a movie, especially at this scape. It's really well done, man. Thin Red Line's kind of a masterpiece. Well, before I get to one, I guess I got to do my worst. I didn't see that one. I didn't see that Disney flick, man. So I don't know what the hell that one. But Jenny Elfman in a movie right there is probably.
Yeah.
I could probably just say it and say, yeah, that's worse. So. But like I was saying off screen there before we started there, I said, I don't know if I saw any really bad movies. So I'm just going to pick like the worst movie or what I think might be. I don't know. I feel like ranting, man. It's like more overrated. So I got to go with it. So I had it down to 2, and I'm going to stick with it, man. I got Armageddon. I'm just going to drop it in there. I know people are going to have it in their comments on their list. It'll be 4, number 2 for people. It'll be number. It's not that good, man. I don't know. It's Michael Bay. You've seen it 100 times with different titles, and that's all that movie is. There's nothing real about it. I know it's an action movie. I know it's not supposed to be real and everything else, but there's a lot of corny crap in that. It's just, I don't know, man. That cheese is just too much. If it's on in the background or something like that, will I watch it? I'll watch some action scene or something like that, but I'm not turning that on to watch that. That's done. So, like I said, maybe not the worst movie. I'll tell you, maybe it's the most overrated movie that I didn't see about. So, of all the movies I saw that year, I wouldn't put that one on. I'll put it that way. Number 1, I did a little flop from the last time we did this, so I did go Saving Private Ryan. So, Brian, you nailed it. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know if Brian's frozen there or not, but whatever the case, and he just left us.
He's left us. He'll be back.
Yeah, he's pissed. Should I keep battling, or what do you want?
Yeah, keep going.
All right.
He'll be back.
So I had Saving Private Ryan. It's to what Brian had talked on before. It's I think he said the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of that movie. First half hour, 40 minutes of that movie, really to get right down to it.
Yeah.
It's insanely, and it's intense. It's so real. The Thin Red Line and both Saving Private Ryan and The Thin Red Line show almost the realism of what's actually happening in these movies. But Saving Private Ryan is vicious, man. Just absolutely vicious. And the story behind it, right? Saving Private Ryan can't have a mother lose all her kids in one go here, and this is what it is. Go out and rescue him, Tom Hanks, and a lot of stuff that goes behind it, and going back out to rescue Saving Private Ryan, which is Matt Damon's character, and it's Spielberg telling a story in the wartime, man, that's kind of second to none, right up there with Schindler for his movies for me in the war. So
yeah,
Saving's number 198.
All right, I'm going to jump in. Number 10 for me is a personal pick, guilty pleasure. I picked Fallen, the supernatural, Denzel Washington, John Goodman, Donald Sutherland. Kind of a cult film, but the devil changing bodies as you touch them, and they're passing the spirit along, Azazel as they call it. I don't know why I got into this movie, but I did. I like the cast. James Gandolfini appears in this as well, and
Yeah, I like Elias Codius in it. Yeah.
yeah, he's in it too. M. Beth Davids plays the woman. It's a pretty good cast, and it's shot in Philadelphia. So there you go. That's why I picked it. I knew there was a reason. My number 9 is a trifecta. There's Something About Mary by the Farrelly brothers. Cameron Diaz is so adorable. She's at peak form here. No wonder everybody wants to date her. And Matt Dillon and Ben Stiller, they're all vying for her affections. Funny, raunchy, laugh out loud, hilarious at some scenes. You guys mentioned the toilet humor, it's guy humor, the beans above the frank and the hair gel, and everything's politically incorrect. There's a guy on crutches that keeps getting tripped up and they're making fun of him. And then the dog gets electrocuted by the hair dryer and thrown out the balcony window. And there's all kinds of crazy antics that add up to a
just ask Brett Favre. Brett Favre will tell you.
Favre's in it, just insane stuff, but it works at the time. It's politically incorrect, so you have to know that going in. Just lose your inhibitions, go in there and have a good time. My number 8 is one nobody had. This is kind of a sleeper pick. Warren Beatty directed, starred, Bulworth, kind of a political satire. I like the film. He's this liberal politician who's borderline insane, and he takes on the persona of the inner city youth. He's dressing like a rapper. He's giving his speeches like a rapper, that type of thing. You got Holly Berry's in here, Don Cheadle, Oliver Platt, Jack Warden, one of our favorite character actors.
Yeah.
So it's a movie I wanted to accent. Number 7 is The Truman Show, another trifecta. Classic. Peter Weir, Doc mentioned him as a great director. Jim Carrey definitely got snubbed. I don't think he was even nominated for an Oscar here. He should have been. Ed Harris is excellent. Laura Linney, who I always enjoy her performances.
Yeah, she's very good.
Psychological drama, reality TV, voyeuristic, all that kind of stuff. You see this guy, you have empathy for him, what he's going through. It's kind of a daring movie, but I think it's well executed. So I'm going to put The Truman Show at 7. Number 6, I have The Thin Red Line, which Doc had, Terrence Malick. First film in 20 years. Took a long hiatus. Cast of thousands. It's Guadalcanal, WW2. Kind of an artsy film, beautifully shot, poetic at times, a lot of space, a lot of silence, and that kind of thing. He's a real artsy director, great visuals, haunting music, really style over substance. Jim Caviezel has the lead. And you got Sean Penn and George Clooney and Nick Nolte, and everybody under the sun is in this movie.
Yep.
Top 5. American History X is my number 5. You guys mentioned a difficult watch, but Ed Norton is excellent in this movie. I don't know how he gets into the role, because he's the farthest thing from this character in real life. The skinhead, the neo-Nazi. It's horrible. Hate and racism. Powerful film. Probably one of his best performances, up there with Primal Fear and 25th Hour for me. Probably his top 3. He's a white supremacist, and he realizes the wrongs of his ways, and he's trying to prevent his younger brother from falling into the same trap. And sometimes it's inevitable what's going to happen. Number 4, glad you picked it. A Simple Plan. Bill Paxton. This is a great movie. It was directed by Sam Raimi. Probably my favorite Sam Raimi movie. I know he does other kinds of genres, but I like this story, this crime thriller in rural Minnesota, where they land upon this amazing amount of cash in this plane, where the people who operated the plane are dead, and they have a plan, and things don't always work out. It's Billy Bob Thornton's excellent, but I think it's Bill Paxton's movie too, in a lot of ways. He's great. He's great in it. Bridget Fonda appears as well. It's about greed and trust, moral dilemma, what do the right thing, all that kind of stuff. There's great tension and between the friends. the brothers, the husband and wife, all these people are trying to make decisions, how to play it. And it turns out to be quite a cluster in the long run. So number 3, I have Rounders. I love this movie. I really do. With Edward Norton and Matt Damon as these buddies who make the rounds playing poker. One guy can't play it straight. He's got to have an angle. That's Ed Norton. And Matt Damon is like a genius. He knows how to play the game and read the tells and that type of thing. And he's getting advice from Martin Landau, who's college professor. You got John Malkovich in here as well as the Russian
That's right.
guy, Russian mob who's playing with the Oreos, and that's his tell. And Matt Damon figures it out and takes him for a bundle. John Turturro as well. To me, it's the best poker movie ever made. I mean, it's a great character study as well. 2 different styles of poker, which I talked about, and I'll watch that.
Brian will be happy that Rounders made the list. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll watch that anytime it's on. That's one of my go-tos. My number 2 is The Big Lebowski. I know I put it really high, but another movie that I think a lot of with these great characters. Jeff Bridges as the dude, and John Goodman as the Vietnam vet who's completely out of his mind, over the top, carries a gun to the bowling alley, and just a complete wild man, and hitting the guy's car out front who he doesn't even know who owns it, and he's destroying it. This is what you get, like a stranger in the ass. And just, that classic line. Steve Buscemi is Donnie, who's kind of a third wheel in the trio there, and kind of a sap in a way, a different character for him. Julianne Moore is Nut, who's into all kinds of tantric sex and this and that. John Turturro is one of the adversaries of the bowling. Philip Seymour Hoffman
That's right.
He plays the
Lebowski's
butler. Yeah, and he's kind of a prancy kind of guy, but real effective. David Huddleston plays the other Lebowski, the older Lebowski.
That's right.
Ben Gazzara as the porn, guy that's making porn movies. It all leads into a labyrinth story here. The mistaken identity, the kidnapping, all that kind of stuff. There's a family scam, lots of pot smoking and white Russians, and everything goes sideways, like you mentioned. He's off the wall. It's just a wild ride. F-bombs galore. I love the language that Jeff Bridges uses in this movie. My worst flick, this is just something that I can't sit through. It's something called Practical Magic. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, Stockard Channing, playing these witches. If you like mindless, silly, awful kind of fluff movies and waste your time, go ahead and watch it. I just can't watch these kind of movies. Directed by Griffin Dunn, who played Uncle Nicky on This Is Us. If you want to get a visual, that's directed the movie.
Jeez.
It's just complete fluff. There wasn't really a movie that stuck out as horrible this year for me that I saw, so I went with this. I know it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, and I know there are a lot of people out there, women especially, who love that shit. So, peace. My number 1 is a trifecta: Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg. You can't get away from it. It's one of the best movies ever made, let alone in '98. One of the best war movies. It takes you to the beach, Normandy Beach, explicitly shows you what went on there. Like it's a visceral experience. That opening scene alone would make it worthy of being on my list, but there's more to it as they get inland and they get behind lines and they're trying to retrieve Private Ryan, played by Matt Damon.
Right.
It's a patriotic movie. Yes, Spielberg's good at that, but you get to know all the characters in the troupe here. Platoon,
isn't it a
and
heartbreaking scene when Giovanni Ribisi is wounded and he asks for more morphine?
Yeah,
and he starts yelling for his mommy as he starts to go. Yeah, it's just terrible.
And it's so real, though. That went on, and that's a real example of war, being away from home, and your last thoughts are you want your mother.
Yeah, because you're only like 18 or 19 years old.
Right.
It's just a kid.
You're a kid.
Tom Hanks is great in the movie. There's some hand-to-hand combat scenes later on. There's that sniper in the church. Remember that?
Yeah, it's a great scene,
Yeah.
man.
Oh my God, there's so much more than that. Everybody talks about the opening scene, which is monumental, but there's so much more to it. Even walking through the pastures with the dead cows lined up, and there's so much
Up the
more.
hills. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a great movie. Spielberg is a genius. For anybody that can come out with Raiders and E.T. and Jaws and Schindler's and Saving Private Ryan, what a resume! Just incredible. So I can't say enough good stuff about that. That was an easy number one, and after that, it was a matter of preference and filling in the blanks. So.
Okay, I missed a lot. So what was that? What was our final count on trifectas?
It was 5. Doc had it, man. It was 5. We had Saving Private Ryan. We had The Big Lebowski. We had
American History
X. We
Something
had
About Mary.
There's Something About Mary and The Truman Show.
Nice.
All 5 made it.
Sorry about tonight, guys. I don't know what the deal is.
No big deal. We got through it.
We got through it. We're okay.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, I'll just patch it up. Any honorable mentions, or we want to? I had Affliction. Doc and I talked about it.
Yeah.
Right. I had Simple Plan was my last one off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rounders, Affliction, and then Rounders probably for me. Affliction would have been ahead of Rounders.
Yeah, you think about like the fact that American History X and Rounders came out in the same year for Norton, man. He's just a great actor.
Yeah, I love Rounders. That's one of my that and The Big Lebowski are the two this year that I've seen the most.
Yeah.
Every time they're on, I'll watch them.
Yeah.
I just like
characters. That's a good question. Maybe Something About Mary might be the most watched one I've had on here.
Yeah, that's a great one too, for just pure entertainment and laughs.
Totally.
Tremendous. And a great cast. I mean, Matt Damon, he's normally known for his darker characters or, deeper characters. He does good comedy. Same with Ben. Ben can do it all. And Cameron, like I said, she's the apple of everybody's eye. She was in absolute fine form here. Played the role great.
Yeah.
And
the pizza delivery guy.
Pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, the pizza delivery. And Brett Favre was after her too, right?
Brett Favre.
They lined up, man, around the block. Everybody she ever met.
Maybe the funniest scene was the trying to bring the dog back to life is giving the dog mouth to mouth and then shocks him with the cord from the lamp. Oh, that was just man, I just died laughing. I couldn't stop laughing at that point.
And how about that old lady that laid under the sun? She's all wrinkled up. And,
she was the same lady from Kingpin, right? The landlord.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yes. Yeah,
it is.
There's some outrageous stuff in that movie.
With Matt Dillon seeing her through the binoculars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Quality movie.
Yeah.
Not politically correct, but funny nonetheless.
Definitely not.
It'd be awful hard to show it nowadays, without getting the woke generation trying to come after you for this or that, or
you need to loosen up.
Relax.
It's a comedy. Comedies are supposed to poke fun at human frailties and whatever. You got to go with it sometimes.
The Farrelly brothers are really good for that type of humor. They're going to push it.
Yeah.
They're going to push it, and they want to see what they can get by with.
Yeah.
It's like the Blazing Saddles of the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, they had that. They had me, myself, and Irene, and Kingpin, and the one where Matt Damon and what's his name are like Siamese twin pitchers. Remember that on a
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean that was just crazy. The stuff
Stuck
they come
on
up
You.
with.
I think it was called Stuck on You or something like
that.
Stuck
on You. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, they've done a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah, I loved Me, Myself, and Irene because Jim Carrey's playing the scene where he's of course multiple personalities and he starts dunking that little girl's head underneath the water. He's like, "Are you going to use any more curse words, little potty mouth?" And then when he lifts her head up out of the water, she's like, "I'm going to tell my daddy." And he's like, "Wrong answer, fuck face." Let's your head back down in the water again. I was like, "Oh my God."
That's funny. Yeah, they definitely push it with even the language for coming out of a kid's mouth and stuff, they'll do anything. Funny stuff. All right, so that'll wrap it up. 1998. We have one more year in this series, 99, which we'll do next week. And then we'll be on to different things between now and the end of the year. And then hopefully once the calendar turns, we'll come up with some steady project. We're going to take a little bit of time off and space things out in the next 5-6 weeks and give ourselves a breather and come back fresh after the new year. We don't want to cram too much stuff into the holidays. So look for the new material. Watch the stuff that we've already done on Brian's channel, Brian's Massey's Maine Entertainment, excuse me. That'll be listed below. My channel, of course, the movies and whatever else I'm doing. So check it out. Thank you very much, Brian, Doc, and we will see everybody next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Take care, everybody. Bye.